I was reading D.L Moody. I'm going to share this with you. Speaking of John 6:34, where it says, "Then said they unto him, Lord, evermore give us this bread." D.L Moody says, "I cannot but believe that the reason for the standard of Christian life being so low is that we are living on stale manna." You know what I mean by that? So many people are living on their past experiences, thinking of the grand times they had 20 years ago, perhaps when they were converted. It is a sure sign that we are out of communion with God if we're talking more about the joys and peace and power that we had in the past than of what we have today. We are told to grow in grace, but a great many are growing the wrong way. The Israelites used to gather the manna fresh every day. They were not allowed to store it up. There is a lesson here for us. If we would be strong and vigorous, we must go to God daily. A man can no more take in supply of grace for the future than he can eat enough today to last him for the next 6 months, or take sufficient air into his lungs at once to sustain life for a week to come. We must draw upon God's boundless stores of grace from day to day as we need it. Man, I thought that really hit home, because so many times I hear folks in church talk about, we did this, we did that, how hard we worked and how God has blessed us. And then when you get to asking questions, you find out that all of this stuff happened in the 60s and the 70s, maybe the 80s. But nobody knows anything that God's done recently. Nobody knows of anything that God's blessed yesterday or last week or last month or last year. God hasn't changed. If we're not seeing God intervene in our life, either we're not looking or we're not as close to Him as we thought we was. We can't live on yesterday's blessings. We can't continue to live in the past. We can't continue to hope that what happened yesterday is sufficient. We're to continue forward, striving and following God, looking for God's blessings today, looking for God to do something amazing. So many people talk about what God used to do instead of looking for the amazing thing that He wants to do now. I promise you something, God hasn't changed. He still has miracles. He still has plans. He still has great things that He wants to do. He has great things that He has planned. Are you going to be a part of it? Are you going to be involved in it? Are you going to allow Him to work through you, or are you just going to be content talking about what He did before? God has brought us to where we are. He didn't bring us here to leave us. He didn't bring us here to not intervene, to not interact with us for the next 10 years. He brought us here so that we could continue to grow with Him, so that we could continue to see Him move, so that we continue to work with Him. Man, I just wish we would get a hold of it. If we're not seeing God in our lives, if we're not seeing God in our church, if we're not seeing God in our workplace and in our families, the problem's not with God. The problem's with us. God has an amazing plan for this world. Read your Bible, it's in there. What's even more amazing is He lets people like us have a part in what He's doing here on earth. Thing is, a lot of us just don't want to have a part in it. We want to sit back and be idle and watch everything happen around us. If we would all be as real about serving God as we are about cashing our government check when it comes, you know, that stimulus package, right? Then nobody have a problem cashing that check. Why don't we be that real about God? Why don't we get that busy about serving Him? Why don't we put as much thought into how we can work out what God has for us as we've already put thought into how we're going to spend the next stimulus check. Hey guys, I'm just saying, I'm guilty too. We're not willing to give God what's already His. Every breath, every moment, every heartbeat already belongs to Him. He's the one in control. What are you going to do with it? God bless you guys. I love you.